Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hi everybody.
Hi,
Are you able
sir.
to hear me, guys? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Vibhor. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you. You
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing pretty much fine now.
feeling better today?
Yeah. Yeah. Much better. Much better. Actually, due to some personal emergency, I need to travel from south part of India to north with extremely
Oh,
different weather conditions.
so
That's
where are
right.
you traveling in north?
Yeah. I reached here this weekend due to some. Actually, my father got ill, so that's why. And here it's pretty much cold comparatively. Maybe
Yeah,
that.
north is pretty cold. Yeah.
That's it. Hang.
Do you live in north or south? Your home?
Uh, my permanent home is in North India, but I do
Okay.
job there in Bangalore.
Okay. So where in North India you live?
I am from UP, Aligarh.
UP Aligarh. I'm from Lucknow.
Oh, good, good. Almost very
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Okay, why it's not loaded the data source? Okay, so did you get the time to get any hands-on on the?
Yeah, I did. Before this session, I was doing some uh, works on the chart. I
Okay,
added data source, tried adding some of the things. So yeah, I'm going to do some more work today. So
okay, good,
that's
good. Okay, so I guess we already covered almost all the analytic component. So
uh-huh.
let's go to the basic components. So first of the basic component is a button. So this is used in few of the scenarios, not much, but very useful component to provide an add-on to your reportings. So when you want your user to uh, have an action when he clicks on something, so you don't want him to click on your chart, you don't want him to click on your table or filter, but you want something different. So functionalities wise, if you see, it might be like you want to save these applications. So actually saving is a little bit something complex thing which comes under this fragment gallery. So just I will give you a brief idea what it does. It maybe you would like when you browse your Internet Explorer or Chrome, you have options of bookmarks. You can save that links. So here what is there? We have something similar called you can save the snapshot of your application as a whole bookmark. So whatever so advantage we will I will cover that thing in detail, but just to say, so what you want is you can save. So for that purpose you sometimes need the button, or you have the function here that you can export your application also. So in a Excel format or HTML format or even CSV. I don't think PDF it is allowed. As far as I remember, PDF I don't think it is there till 1.5. Maybe in 1.6 or further they might have it. So, but not all your component you can export. It only exports your cross tabs. So maybe actually it was something like in their roadmap that sooner or later they might have the flexibility, like in Webby you can export whole your application. Here they will add very soon maybe that you can export the chart or your another thing also, but right now you can export it also. And also even you would have seen if you have opened your dashboard or even Webby, sometime what happens is you want to explore another application from your current report. So what happens is you can say in a business object term or something called master child master relationship in that report. So what happens is one report will have very aggregated data, some limited information, and then the next report will have a very detailed. So if you want, you can move. So just to not make your application much heavy, you will have this kind of reports. So maybe at a regional level you are reporting, or maybe at your very high level you will have some very aggregated information. If somebody wants, he can click. So sometime what you do is you provide him that functionality that okay, something you can say that okay, detailed report. So if he clicks, you can take him to the next report, which altogether can be a different report, or even it can be a within the same report. What we can do is we can have multiple tabs. So tabs in generic, whatever we do, we can segregate. So based upon that, you can have different functionalities or usage for buttons. So we will see each of them, the complex thing, but let's take a simple example. Maybe if we want to, let's say just a simple example where we want is when he clicks here, we will make this chart as the type of the chart, let's say we change. Okay, so let's say okay, so if he clicks, we will change the chart into some other thing. Chart one dot. So I'm just starting with the very big basics of the JavaScripting so that you don't get it. So I will tell you few of the I will say experiences and good practices or something which which will assist you when you are developing your applications. So what happens is you will not have that uh, very much, I will say that is something hard and fast rules, but that is something which have benefited me. So I thought maybe I can share you. So whenever you are building any application, and mostly when you are dealing with the JavaScripting part, so it's not that very complex, it's pretty much simple, I will say. The main thing or the something which is utmost importance when you are developing any JavaScripting is the logic part. And that is true for any programming language. Even in your database, if you do SQL programming, all these things, I will say, and maybe you will agree, that logic is more important. Syntax wise, you can get it from anywhere. You will have pre-written codes also somewhere. So that is not the biggest thing. What I feel the biggest challenge is generally writing logics, that okay, and knowing that okay, this is also possible. So two things. Basically, most importance is two things. First thing is logic. You should know that okay, what is the steps I need to take to perform these things. And then you should know that okay, these are the functions available, or I will say not even functions, these are the something which is available, I can do it. So if somebody says that okay, when I click on a chart, so or maybe if I click on any of the icon or any of the button, I want my chart to hide. So I should know that okay, there is one function which is used to set the visibility. The first thing is you should know that okay, I have that function. Okay, just a minute here. I'm getting up. And second thing, as I told you, is the steps. That okay, how can I do that things? So that thing. So here in JavaScripting, for every component you will have plenty of I will say functions. So not all are required very much. So even you don't need to memorize anything. So initially what my reaction was that, okay, there are so many functions, how I will remember all of them with their parameters, how they are working. But sooner or later, as I grew up in doing this one, so I got to know that there is no need actually to remember that one. Only thing is you should know that, okay, there will be some function, or there is some function which if I use, it will work in that way. That's it. And anyway, it suggests you already. You don't need to remember. So main thing is only logic part. So, and when you do the JavaScript encoding, I generally divide my task into three parts. First part is you should know that, okay, what needs to be done. That is the first step. That doesn't needs to be anything in the technical term. It's the simple functionality. What is you trying to achieve? Then the second part comes is in a very simple terms, layman term, or in a way, I will say just English language form, how you need to do it. So you can say, okay, this, if I do, my task will be done. Okay, that is the second step. And the third step then comes, whatever you have said in the second term or in the second step, writing the code for that one so that you can use. And this is the function or functionality, or this is the approach which I have used in my all the programming languages I have learned in the past, I will say, let's say 10 or 12 years, whether it is C, Java, .NET, DBMS, SQL, or even now in JavaScripting. First of all, I try to make sure that, okay, I know what needs to be done. Because if you are confused in that one, you might lead to a wrong way or something. So, and that is not very much difficult if you have a better understanding of what is required. And then the second step, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, the second step, which will not be very technical or very from programming language. And third, so let's apply the same thing here and see that, okay, how much it helps. So my functionality is, if I click on this one, my chart should change. Okay, so that is something, the first step, my what needs to be done. So I'm clear that, okay, when I click on the chart, my on the button, my chart will change, maybe from column chart to pie chart, bar chart, whatever. That's secondary thing. That's not of much concern. This is my first step. So second step, as I told you, how I need to do the same thing in technical or in a layman term. Where if I say in a pseudo code form or in just a general form, what I need to do is how I will do that. So if I say how I need to do that one is, so when I click on chart, I need to set the chart type. So whenever user clicks here, I need to go to the onClick event and write a code which will change the chart type. Okay, so this is the second step, that how I need to do. Whatever user clicks, I need to handle that event in his onClick, and then I will just change the chart type, whichever I find, whichever is required. Okay, so that is the third step. Now comes the third step. Whatever we said in the second step, how we do that in JavaScript language. So as I told you, let's translate our second step into coding part. My step is, I need to click on the onClick, because everything needs to be handled when user clicks on the button. So I need to write the code in the on click event. So what do I need to do is I need to change the chart type. Okay. So now here comes the something which is specific to this Java scripting only, or I will say to Design Studio, that when you uh, do the programming or when you write the code, there is one thing, or I will say something which will assist you, like how I start the coding, if I what I should do. So you should uh, apply function on that object. Generally in Java scripting part, most of the things are either set or get. Apart from there, these two things, there will be plenty of things. But if I will say 80% of your coding will be revolving around these two things, set or get. Either you will be taking the values from uh, where anywhere, like filter, even your chart, cross tab. So when you will click, so at that moment, either you would be interested, I'm telling in most of the cases, not every time. So in most of the cases, you will be interested to get the value. Okay, if user clicks Delhi, so let me save it somewhere in a variable or somewhere. So that might be your requirement, or what you might be required is I need to set something. So mostly these two things will be your task. Okay, so if you see in this case, what we are trying to do is we are trying to change the chart type. So it is something like we are setting something. So we are trying to set something. So what you need to do is you need to first of all realize on which component I am trying to do something. That is something which you need to select from here. You will, if you click on here on the Java scripting that canvas, or you can say editor, if you press Control plus space, it will give you the list of all the objects available in your application. Few are like some functions, and then your whole application level, and then all the components sorted alphabetically. So anyway, don't need to bother too much about that one. You need to just figure out what is the thing I am trying to do. Am I trying to set or get? And depending upon which component I am trying to get, or to the which component I am trying to set, I need to select that one. So if I say here, I am trying to set for which component. If I ask you that, okay, here, what is the component on which I am trying to set something? That component is my chart one. Okay. So I will select chart one. Now, so now I need to, this I got selected that, okay, this is the component on which I need to perform the function. Now the second part is which function do I need? So what functionality I'm trying to achieve? Change the chart type. So whenever after the object name, if you press dot, it will give you the list of all the functions available for that component. More or less they will be same for all of the components with little bit change. It's not that it will be same, but generally they are to some extent same. Like for button, checkbox, date field, all these things, it's like few will be same, few will be different. So like that one. Now out of these all functions, you have to figure out which is the function which, if I choose, will allow me to set the chart. So if you see, most of the functions are get and set. Okay. So you need to see, if I ask you that, okay, let's see what are all the set functions available. So which is the function, if I ask you right now, you can
Chart type.
help. Yeah, so if you use this function set chart, you will be a minor information will be available in this information box also. since this function is itself is a self-explanatory, it doesn't need that much information, so they are not. But there are few functions which will have a very detailed information. Like if you set data selection, it's a very complex application function. So they have given a detailed with examples also you will have. So let's use this function, sort chart type. So what is this one? You need to understand this function and what is the parameter it is accepting. So you will select this function. And when you select this whole, so if you select and then you press control plus space, then it will gives you what are all the possible values you can enter in that one. So if I press control plus space, so it is showing that these are the different type of chart to which you can convert. Okay, that is applicable. These are the all the, I will not you can change. These are the all the different type of chart available. Okay, chart type bubble. So depending upon your data, you can change. If I say that okay, I want to change it to dual bar, it will throw me an error because for dual bar you need two key figures. Okay, similarly dual column, dual line. So let's say for time being we change it to just line chart. Okay, and then once your statement close, just put a semicolon. Okay, if there is any error or any issue, it will show you a red line. A cross will show, and if you put your mouse to the cross, it will in fact tell you what is the error. Okay, if I put my mouse here, so it says mismatch input end of string function expecting semicolon. So you will get to know that okay, I missed the semicolon. So that's why I say that almost half of your task it will automatically assist you. Only the thing is you need to create the logic only. The syntax part, what are all the functions available, all these things to some extent it will take care. You don't need to worry too much. Okay. So now let's see how it works. So what I need to do is if I click on the change chart, this should change into line chart. Okay. So it has changed into line chart. Okay. So if I again click it, it will not do because it is already in line chart, but ideally this should not be the use case, but I'm just trying to show you but what exactly it does button. So like that one, whenever you want to achieve any functionality on any or you want to manipulate any of your object, in that case you will require. So I will actually we will have 2-3 use case examples will be there where this button will be used. Okay, so like as I told you, like in fragment gallery, when bookmark, when opening a new application, so there will be 2-3 usage which will be covering that, which will have
Okay,
some
question
complex.
here. Yeah, so the part which is the event section in the properties, um, and on click the action which is scripting. So that is the
Okay,
only option at the moment, is scripting, or do we have a GUI based or something?
no, this is there only.
This is
Every
the only
component
option.
will
Okay.
every component will have either on click, on select, or on apply. More or less, just the name they have changed because when you if you see here, this is for chart they says on select, for button they say on click. It's just like it gives more sense to that application or that component, but
Okay.
functionality wise everything what you do is either on click, it is, you can say it's in the events only. So on select will be there, on collect, and few of the components will have that on apply. So maybe these out of these three names mostly you will see on click or on select. So this is the only place where you will do the scripting. Apart from that, you have one more place, that is your application level. So actually I did not wanted to touch that one. This is events, 4 events. That is something which you want some script or some functionalities if you want to achieve when your application, not even before starting. So
Okay.
that is something. So you will see there are some on startup, on background
Yeah.
processing, on prompts. So this we will see, but this is something at where your program level or your application level. These
Okay.
are not something with object. This is something which will be applicable to your whole function for application. So mostly in this one, this is something which will be very used on startup.
Understand. Okay.
So we will see that one once we
Mhm.
move through that one. So, but apart from that, every component will have this on click. Not every, few will not have. Like if you see, I guess filter line does not have that scripting component, I guess. Yeah, filter line, if you see, we don't have anything called events. So I think 95% of the component have this scripting
Okay.
part. Few of them, I think hardly two or three components will be there, which will not have that one.
Dimension filter do we
So
have in it?
yeah, dimension filter. This is having.
Yeah.
Actually, in the initial stages of that design studio,
Mm-hmm.
these filters, whatever we used to do in dimension filters, like this target data source concept,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
was not there. That you need to handle via scripting only. So at that moment when we started, so I will
Mm.
say the scripting required was at least 3 or 4 times more what now in 1.6 onward what is required. Most of the things are slowly they are removing the dependency from scripting. And in fact it is good because nobody should avoid this tool just because he is not very much familiar with the programming. And it's kind of something for few people it's a very tedious thing to, even though it's very minor programming, not very much, but there's still
Mm.
some people I knew that they avoided this tool just because oh it's JavaScripting and all these things. So
Yeah.
it's so they maybe they would have got the feedback like this, so they would have they're trying to remove the dependency and
Yeah. I
making
know.
it more of a
Project.
drag and drop.
Yeah. On a couple of projects, they rejected Design Studio and they gone into Tableau to do the reporting
Yeah.
because because of the scripting. But now the tool is getting mature on the Google based.
Yeah. So that is something about
Mm-hmm.
buttons. Then we have this chart type picker. So if you see the chart, we have different type of
Can
charts available.
Can I ask one more question? On the
Yeah,
change chart, right, we created this button. Can
yeah.
we do one more example? I just want to see because open any other report or any other tab, how are we going to do that? So if you can show
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
that
yeah.
very
We will
useful.
have all
Right.
these things. As I told you, we will have plenty of usage of this button. We will have
Uh-huh.
when bookmark, when we will saving bookmark, when we will opening the new application, when we will be moving from one tab to another. So I
Okay.
have not just given the example of all these things right now because they involve a little bit of more complex scripting. So that's why I have not covered it. So don't
Okay.
worry, we will have the session for buttons, or in fact when we will cover uh, the container components, like we have tab thing, split cell container, or we will have that open application. We have one function, open application, which opens new applications. So in that one we will see more advanced usage of button. So at that time it will be good for you because if you right now if you get a little bit of more complex scripting things, so maybe not able to digest everything right now. So
Mhm.
it's better we just move a little bit slowly. Subsequently, we will have the complexity increased and you can see more things. Okay, you will have that examples. No, don't worry. Okay, so uh, we were discussing about chart type picker. As I told you that we have different type of charts available. You can do chart type, column, anything you can change, whichever you require. So you have different types. With few of them might be feasible, which like if you say dual axis, it will say no, you don't have two dimensions. So if you say you must include at least two measures, not dimension, measures. So obviously for every type of chart you will have few restrictions. So you can convert it. But what if I want my chart to change based upon user interaction? Let's say if user selects anything and on that moment I want to change something. So in that case, what I will do, I can, so what, because this is something which I can change only when user or when I'm building my application, developing my report. So, but if I want something to be changed at the end, so in that case, what I should do? So for that one, they have given this chart type here. You can attach to any of the chart. Okay, so this is your, let's say, chart 1. Just a minute. Sorry?
No, that's fine. Yeah, I was saying that with you.
Yeah. So if you execute the report right now, looks like it is hanged. Let me execute it once again. What? Let me restart the application once again. Once. Okay, fine. So now if you see, if I want to change, let's say into line chart, column chart, this is something, the same thing. It requires like maybe cannot display chart. It will tell you that you must include at least two measures in a row here. So you can change it to different types. So at the runtime,
Can we customize this? Means the one which doesn't work can be removed.
it will be, you can customize it, but it will be a bit complex. So you can customize it. If you go here, you have that thing. Uh, you can add it, but I don't think you have the option to remove that one.
This first one from the second line, the plus one, can you not remove it?
No, I don't think we have the option to display what all we want, because whatever all the charts are there, they are here already. So maybe not here. So with the scripting we can do that. Okay, if user has selected this, then you can have it, but I don't think that that will require plenty of calculation. So something like it will make your application a little bit more complex. Like you can select that, okay, if selected type, if chart1 dot get selected, chart type is equals to column or pie or line, then you will change it, else you can just ignore it. So you can do it, but it will make the things complex. So
Yeah,
maybe you
because
can.
to use this, many times they want to see, okay, I want three type of charts I need to see. So giving a chart picture, they will configure that application for three charts only, like
Yeah,
white, line, or bar. So,
yeah, that you can do. No issue. So let's say whatever you are telling, if you try to do, we can do it, no issues. So so in that case we will require that if else, by
chart.
which we will see that, okay, what is the type of data, what is the chart type he has selected.
Mhm.
But if, or let me say, if else will be required, first expression would be chart1 type dot picker dot get select value is equals to mm,
Also, there was, if you just say control space, there was something.
here it will not suggest you chart1 dot this. I'm just
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah.
here it will sell. So we will say we will
Yeah,
allow, let's say we will allow only,
chart one.
and let's say we want
And five.
line column line and pie column. Yeah, so and maybe that one also. So pie so
Both are pi at the moment. We want to make it to one line, right?
yeah, yeah, make it line. So if user have selected uh, chart type picker dot get selected value. Okay, else we will not do anything. So what we are selecting is, if we select spy or line, I think even column should also work. Hmm, COL.
You are mute. Well,
Bar bubble column combination. I think it doesn't accept.
yeah, just
Anyway,
single O. If you go onto the, just take out the O after L.
no, I don't
Just
think.
say dual column. It was dual column chart.
Dual, it will not work here actually.
In the scroll.
Dual column will have actually the error because it does not have two things. So
Mm-hmm.
syntax violation. Anyway, that we can see if it works for two.
Yeah.
Sir.
What happened? Yeah, it's not. Yes, issue with the application today. It's not.
Training चल रही है.
Sorry?
Yeah, no, nothing. Just
Okay. No, it's not.
not opening at all now.
Maybe sometime it becomes very slow. Let me see now. Looks like so. I hope the script is not changed. Okay, fine. Let's see. So if I select line, it should change. If I select pie, it should change. Hmm. Actually, the thing is, we cannot restrict it.
Yeah,
Problem
I
is
think
that,
what I was asking is was a little different to that. So as you see in the first line, there are three. One is column, then the line, and then
yeah,
the pie. In the second line, we have got two other graphs. So I wanted to
yeah,
see if we can have three graphs only in the display, not the
yeah,
other
yeah,
two.
yeah. That I don't think it is possible because if you see, we have additional types. So they
Hmm.
are providing the provision to add,
మన స్లిప్
I
బోర్డ్
think,
వస్తుండండి
but they are not
స్లిప్ బోర్డు ప్లైవుడ్
allowing the
పెడతారు
provision
పెట్టి
to
దిగగానే రైట్ సైడ్ లో ఉంటుంది
remove.
పెట్రోల్ బంక్ ఆ పెట్రోల్ బంక్ లో ఉండాలి పెట్రోల్ బంక్
Hello.
ఓకే మన ట్రావెల్స్ పేరు ఏంది
So, so maybe
Muted.
that's why they are not allowing. Okay. So this is few of the usage of this chart type, but it's not very much used actually. I have not even used once in my whole application developing because
I prefer. Okay.
changing the because the thing is changing the chart type does not add that much value to your application. It's not that if you change your chart type, you will get some very hidden information or like that. It will be
Yeah.
more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
So only some scenarios it might help that uh, where the thing is you are displaying something where your dimension changes. So in that case, it makes sense. Because actually every chart has its own significance. You cannot use the same chart in different type. So just if I give you a simple example, uh, this is your column chart, okay,
Hmm.
and let's say when you have one more pie chart.
Mhm.
So if I say that okay, this information, if I want to represent in pie chart, so I will change it. Yeah, let's say if I change it into pie chart. So does this make any sense or does it add any value? Or if I represent it in pie chart, is this correct or not? So there are few actually thumb rules which you can use that are not something very technical thing, but just a general thing. When you develop any chart or when you select that what type of chart should I use. So if I want to use a pie chart, so in that case I will use my chart type should be pie only in those case where whatever information or whatever sections you will get, like here if you see this is BLR, CA, Delhi, New York. So whatever all the sections are there, when you aggregate them all, when you add them all, you get some information. Or individually the sections what they are having, they are kind of some ratio. So that just getting a brief idea or just looking at the section or pie, you can get that information that okay, this is good, this is bad, this is ugly. Okay, so if you just see here, you can get an idea that okay, this uh, Delhi is having the maximum revenue or this Bangalore is having the least revenue. So it gives you that out of whole how much proportion I am getting. So if you can clearly see this is hardly, I will say 1/4, not even 1/4, it is close to 1/8 I will say, or 1/5, 1/6. So that is something information it gives you. Now if you, let's say you are representing the headcount of your company in different years, okay, 2015, 16, 17, okay. So now if I say you that okay, represent that information in chart, so you let's say you represented line, then you thought okay, if I want to convert into graph, let's say pie chart, so let's see if we try it. So if you try to show in pie chart, you will have let's say first here 2015 or
Yeah.
maybe 13, 14, 15, 16. So you are showing the information that okay, in every year what was the headcount of my company for different years. Now if I tell you that if you have chosen pie chart, so the first thing which I told you that was this information or different sections of your pie, does the aggregated information gives you some value? So if you add your head count in 2013, 14, 15, 16, does it give you information? No, because it is not that okay, whatever was your head count in 2013, they are no way related to 2014. You will have the same employees in 2014 also. There will be few addition, few remove. But it's not that you can just add all the, or if your 2014 population or head count is more, it doesn't give you some information. If you see that okay, in my 2017 my chunk of that it is the maximum popular head count is in 2016. This is not something which adds to your information or something not which you can add. So in that case your pie chart doesn't make sense because head counts are not something which you can add if you looking into dimension of let's say time. Whereas if you are looking with respect to let's say country, okay, or maybe region, so in that case what will happen is you have different region, three region, let's say your presence is in three region, Asia, America, and let's say Europe. So you have some headcount in Asia, some headcount in Europe, some headcount in America. In that case, if I tell you that okay, if you represent in pie chart, so your first question will be, if I add them all, does it gives me some information? So if you add your headcount in Asia, America, and Europe, do you get any information? So answer will be yes. I will get what is my total headcount, because it is not that okay, somebody will be from Asia as well as Europe. Somebody can't be from Europe as well as America. They all three are mutually exclusive things. So there, if you represent this information, it makes sense that okay, if you represent with region wise in pie chart, it makes sense, because just looking at one of the region, you can get okay, my most of the headcounts are in Europe, my most of the headcounts are in Asia, my most of the headcounts are in America. So in that case, it makes sense. Whereas year wise, it is not, because they have, so in short, if I say, if the dimensions are mutually exclusive, in that case it makes sense. But if it is not, it doesn't make sense. Or if you just simply take a very common example or very low level example, if you are representing a student's marks, if I am representing my 4 subject marks, so if I represent them in my pie chart, it doesn't make sense. If I represent in column chart, I can see in which subject I have good, in which bad, in which ugly. But in pie chart, it will not make sense. They are different objects. If I add them up, it is not giving me any information. I cannot see that, okay, if I have got 10 number in one of the subject and 20 in another, they are not related to each other. They are simply exclusive. So if they are exclusive, it doesn't make sense. So these are few of the things which is something more of a, not something very important. So just I came through, so I just covered that one. So you can just have a look. Generally, when you choose the chart, what type of chart should I take? So that's why I was telling you that this chart type picker is not very much used. I will say I have not used even once. So
Yeah, I
maybe
can
if you
understand.
just you can just try if you feel that okay, in that scenario if it comes handy. So in that case you can have it. Now we have
So with the chart
this.
change, which is a button, using that we can do a lot of things like, give action to chart,
Yeah,
change chart type and all. But
generally this tool this object in fact was not there before 1.5, this chart type picker. So at that moment, if in one of my application, actually I tried to change the chart. Actually functionality was something else, not
mm,
exactly chart type change.
mm.
So in that one, we need to do it via that scripting or whatever exactly you were telling, that with the help of button. So
Yeah, I think the button will be
actually
very
it was,
useful function in that.
yeah, it was kind of not flipping the chart. It was like changing the chart to table. So it was not exactly changing the chart. It was like making, feeling the user, giving a user a feeling something like he is changing the chart, but actually it was like they were superimposing each other and we were setting the visibility. So
Mm.
at that moment we feel that actually this chart change was not there, so we did not get, so that's why.
Yeah, I think so. You can see the one use case is like, if you were trying to expose the data for country and you want to see by region, right? Then clicking on that thing and chart gets expanded to
Mm,
region or something.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, is the use case. Okay.
yeah, yeah. That is also good. You can, so that's what actually even I encourage my, I will say, whosoever I am giving training, that if I say one example, if whatever use case I have given, let's say if I give you a use case like this is how we use button,
Mm.
so you should try to explore one more possibility, that okay, what are the other possible usage by which I can use this button or chart type picker, and try to then build that component and just have a simple example where you will use that one.
Yeah,
So that,
just a quick question here again on the button.
yeah,
So basically, on button, as most of the thing on click is a scripting, right? So
yeah,
what I want to do is, give a definition something else and replace this chart with a something new, right? That can be done as well, I guess.
yeah, that can be done. We will see, we will have one session on actually drill down and making the visibility and all these things. So in that one we will cover like within the chart, if I want to change the dimensions, like with respect to country, I want to view with respect to category and all these things. So we will see.
Okay.
Uh, when we were discussing about checkbox, it is something very generic component. In real time, you would have used this one, like when you explore, let's say you are visiting